Well, that's it. We're live.
There we are.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Ben and Curt Till It Hurts pre-show. The only reason we're doing a pre-show is because I don't remember how to do a podcast. Oh, let's see. So we're not recording. Now we're recording. Yeah, and then it worked. Okay. Totally.
Look at this thumbnail for the new Half in the Bag episode.
What is that?
That's Mike, I think. I think his name is Mike. From Half in the Bag, but digitally altered to look like a Slender Man.
Okay. If we're good, then we can go. I feel like maybe this week isn't the best week to do it, but I mean, is there anything we should like do during the pre-show that's different or special?
Like,
I know what we do need to do.
What?
I need to go see what B and C were up to 1 year ago, so we can re-review.
Oh yeah. Oh no, that's a surprise at the end of the show, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
Is it? Okay. Look it up. Get it ready.
Well, I don't have to. It can be a surprise, so we don't have time to fester on it.
I just want it to be a surprise for me.
Okay. You know what I'll do? I will bring up the web page so it's as ready as possible.
But not look.
Right.
Yeah, we're live right now. We're good.
Awesome. Is anybody watching?
No.
That makes sense. I believe that.
I buy it.
What are we at? So we're just going to start telling people 5:30. You can start expecting the...
Yeah. Yes.
The B and C Till It H live show. I'll talk about it on the show. I think that would be good.
5:30 on most Wednesdays.
Yeah, most. Are we good to go?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Yeah.
3.
Hello and welcome to... I just saw the fucking VHS copy of Goldmember and I lost it.
Relevant.
Hello and welcome to Ben and Curt Till It Hurts, the culture cast caught at the crossroads of curation and castration. I'm your host, Ben.
And I'm your co-host, Curt.
We're both co-hosts.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm your other host, Curt.
Curt, how you doing?
I'm okay.
Yep, me too.
Yep.
This week we're talking about Office Space.
I've realized a couple things. Now that we've taken this show to a visual medium, which is a great place to plug that we have taken this show to a visual medium.
We're doing it live.
If you like B and C Till It H and you don't want to wait until Monday or Thursday, whenever I get around to uploading the episode like last week, why don't you stop by your local YouTube web browser? That's a weird way to say that. And go to the Ben and Curt, the Ben and Curt YouTube channel, and you can watch Ben and Curt Till It Hurts live on Wednesdays around 5 p.m.
Watch us talk to each other.
Yeah.
We're just hanging out.
5:30. Depends what time we get here and how long it takes us to get set up and what I've done to sabotage my own life before we start recording. Also, related to this being a visual medium, there are so many things that I've been thinking about when I see us. One is that I just sit horribly. I'm already fat. That's not a secret. But I just sit in a really fat way that makes me look fatter. But
you're also side on to the camera.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
I've taken a much more visually appealing, straight, dead ahead look.
So we should switch. Because if you were more visually appealing to begin with,
my naturally slim figure can be accentuated.
We'll show you sideways in a bad angle and give me the good angle.
I'm a flat Stanley man.
It'll even out.
Slow as hell.
The other thing is, like, we have like the webcam, so we can have like props and stuff.
Oh,
now.
yeah.
This was an accident.
We're gonna get fucking content blocked in Italy for that, man.
Yeah, you're right. What else? So there was also a book that I was planning on referencing in this episode, and I own the book, and it's down in my backpack, and I was like, I don't need to bring that up for the show, but now I could have shown our live listeners... Our what?
A good prop.
Yeah, I could have shown them the book that I was referencing.
What book were you gonna reference?
The Lucifer Effect by Philip Zimbardo.
Oh, what's that book about?
The Lucifer Effect.
Who's that? Never heard of him.
Yeah, he's a guy. It's actually not as cool of a book as it sounds, but it relates. We were talking about Office Space yesterday, and talking. Well, I'm sure we will about Lumbergh and his evil, insidious tendencies behind his like bland, non-caring.
He's the banality of evil encapsulated in one individual,
and that is essentially what the Lucifer Effect is about. That was, for those that don't know, Philip Zimbardo was, I think he got his claim to fame from the Stanford Prison Experiment.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he was like famous before that or if that's what got him famous. But his whole book is about what is evil about man is not so much the one man that does horrific things, but the people around him that just accept it and let it happen. And I thought, after we talked about that yesterday, I was like, wow, that reminds me of that book I read that one time when I had to read a book. And I was thinking about that, so...
Should have brought it up during Boondock Saints, too.
Did I read a book about Boondock Saints?
No.
Philip Zimbardo?
Philip Zimbardo would have made perfect sense.
That was before I cared about this podcast.
You know that whole the Stanford Prison Experiment has been called into question lately. Yeah, taped interviews have been released only in the last few years that show that the wardens were coaching. They were coaching the prison guards to be as evil as possible.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so it turns out if you get a big room full of people and tell a bunch of them to be mean, they'll be mean, especially if there are no consequences. And the whole thing is kind of like theater. It's like there are no real consequences to this. It's like you get not just permission but encouragement. In fact, it was phrased as a mandate. It's like you need to be this way for the experiment to be valid.
Okay.
Like most 1970s social science research,
yeah,
it's complete dog shit.
No ethics involved. Which almost doesn't surprise me because, like, the little bit I know about Philip Zimbardo, like, I've had to watch some interviews, and he seems like kind of a very, like, flashy guy.
It was the days of Timothy Leary, man. Like,
yeah.
Shit was crazy in the academia.
And just based on the, like, I think the Lucifer Effect is a much catchier, and that's like a hook title that didn't need to be the title of that book. You know, even like The Banality of Man would have been like, maybe that's a little too old school sounding, but...
There's another philosopher, a woman who wrote a great deal about Nazi Germany. The Banality of Evil.
Well, see, there you go. So,
there's a phrase from her work, and I can't remember her name. I am ashamed.
Well... So maybe Philip Zimbardo won't help us so much, but the point of it was I was going to reference it. I have the book. I could have showed you the book. But anyway.
You been up to anything?
Well, we didn't record last week.
Yeah.
Because I had to go to a work thing.
I didn't listen to that, but I heard Jake the Thriller had some words for me, in my opinions, about Stranger Things on that episode.
Oh, man. Speaking of which, I was looking through my Facebook memories like yesterday, and I saw... from like 2 or 3 years ago when Stranger Things first came out, and I posted on Facebook, and I was like, Stranger Things 10 out of 10, it's so good, it's incredible.
Yep.
So, I guess
I caught up in the hype.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I guess I had words with you too. I had 2 dreams, but I don't know if we want to do Dreamcast today or later, not at all. Alright. No, other than that, I hope people liked my backdated episode of, that was really old, that episode of BGP. What else? Have you been up to anything?
Yeah, man. I watched a movie called Funny Games.
Ah, yeah.
I'd never seen that before.
Did you watch the American one or the German one?
I watched the American one, and having seen a comparison of the two, I think I made the right choice.
Really?
Yeah, frankly. Have you seen one or both?
I've only seen the German one.
You've only seen the German one. Michael Pitt's performance in the American one is out of this world. And having seen his performance compared to the performance of the German or French actor in the original, I couldn't tell if they were speaking German or French. I'm a Philistine. I think that Michael Pitt really brought some new energy to that character. And I've heard that the director wanted it to be made in America in the first place, and it was only made in Austria for budgetary reasons on the production. So it was a natural fit to bring it to America, because I guess it's supposed to be kind of a chastising lesson movie about American audiences and American media consumption in particular. Oh. Which I kind of got that, you know.
I saw it in high school, and the context in which I watched it wasn't like a academic, like, I was just watching it because my friend liked finding fucked up foreign movies, so that was like, I approached it with that scope of like, they say this movie's kind of fucked up.
It's weird because it's not fucked up in the way that people usually mean when they're talking about fucked up movies. And it almost seems meant to punish you if you approach the movie in that way. Because it doesn't show any on-screen violence. Yeah. I don't believe there's any on-screen violence in the whole movie. Probably like the closest is when the guy gets whacked with the golf bat. Golf bat. Well, uh-oh.
The golf bat.
That's bad.
We're sports guys. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we were talking different movie, like the different versions, and I saw...
They are shot for shot.
Are they? And as I said, I saw it over 10 years ago, so I honestly... There's only like one part that I really remember that...
What do you remember?
When one of the captive people does something that gives them an edge, or they break free.
Oh, the remote part.
And one of the kidnappers takes the TV remote control and pauses real life, and then rewinds it, and then makes it so that person cannot do what they had previously done.
Yep.
Which really just kind of like messed with me, because it broke the rules, and that was like a very weird. I had never really thought of.
That same character looks directly at the audience through the camera multiple times in the movie as well. He's constantly breaking the fourth wall. It's a very theatrical thing that the director does, which apparently the director comes from a background in theater, which makes a lot of sense considering how the dialogue is written in that movie and the way the whole thing is kind of structured. But yeah,
next week we'll do funny games.
No, I don't know if we need to do funny games on this podcast. I loved it though.
Good.
It doesn't seem to be a movie that a lot of people love, but I loved it. I think it's kind of anti-Christy in that way. It's like it's well respected. Though, weirdly, talk about a divisive movie. It is the definition of divisive. It has a 51% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Don't get me started on Rotten Tomatoes, man. Rotten Tomatoes, spoilers, is my next Black Gold podcast target.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
What's it going to be?
Last time, I'm totally just like starting to use those shit clickbait titles.
Uh-huh.
Last week I put up our paid subscriptions ruining the internet.
Yep.
And now it'll probably be something as lazy as is Rotten Tomatoes ruining your movie-going experience.
Uh-huh.
Because I have theories that it is.
Well, the thing about Rotten Tomatoes is that it does not reward excellence in filmmaking.
Right.
Because if you make something excellent, there's always the chance that people are not going to get it or are not going to like it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you make something that's good enough that most people kind of like it,
yeah,
like every comic book movie is good enough that most people will think, yeah, that was fine.
Yeah.
And the super diehard fans will look through and comb through all the details to find all the shit you hid in it.
I shouldn't go off on it because I want a podcast about it, but I will say I'm going to go off on it right now. What I don't like about it is there are a couple ways that I approach not liking it. One is that it started with like pretty sincere efforts by like some college students, and it took off immediately, and now it has been bought by a movie studio.
Oh, man.
So a movie studio owns the thing that reviews the movies, which is stupid. That's totally biased. Second, exactly like you said, it rewards okay movies. So a movie studio owns it. I think it's Warner Brothers owns it. So Warner Brothers puts out whatever shit movie they want, and when a movie gets like a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes, that's not like 99 out of 100. That can mean like 99% of the people that reviewed it, so like, yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's
so
like
you take like
your review just has to be favorable.
A C+ movie now gets a bright red sticker that says it has 100% approval on Rotten Tomatoes, which I think is misleading. I also don't like when you go to get a movie out of Redbox, it shows you that. Like, it's just so corporate, and it's bullshit. It's like a misleading bullshit score to make you watch their okay movies.
Yeah, the whole idea of centering a cultural conversation on cinema around the number assigned to a film by faceless critics internet-wide is ridiculous.
And the other problem that happens with, you have people that review those movies, they're like fan user reviews and stuff, and they're not any safer or non-biased than anything else. So like, totally, obviously, I have to address that this is sort of relative to like Batman v Superman. Like when that movie came out, it's not I don't know. I can't even.
We're going to get to the Zack Snyder series eventually.
We'll get to the Zack Snyder series. There are problems with Batman v Superman. I'm not saying it's one of the best movies ever made, but I am saying that regardless of whether it was good or bad, it was popular to shit on that movie when it came out. That became, because it was a very anticipated...
You're saying that there was brigading on the user score. It's a lower user score than because people organized said like, yeah, fuck that movie.
Yeah.
Vote.
People will read my reviews if I also shit on that movie. I think that's what it was.
That's one of the dangers of centering an entire critical conversation on a score.
Yep.
It's like a number is easily manipulable.
So there will be the next episode.
Not a lot of room for nuance on that front. Huh?
Will be about Rotten Tomatoes. I can't get into it anymore tonight because I'm gonna do. That's a new thing I do.
Yeah, I've noticed you do it twice so far. I
have a theory that when you're driving or listening to B&C Till at H, you hear my weird robot voice. You stop paying attention. So every once in a while, I just bring you back into it.
Oh no! It's also a good way when I start to zone out, doze off.
I can tell. And now you can see, viewers that watch live, Ben falls asleep while I ramble. Should I edit this out?
What? Which part?
The you snoozing and me
snoring?
Drinking water? Yeah.
No.
Office Space.
Office Space is a great movie. I was waiting for you to do the thing so I could wake up.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the joke.
Oh.
It's all good.
What a fucking...
okay.
Sometimes we nail our jokes.
Yeah, it's like 10% of the time.
And I just totally missed that one.
It's okay. I miss opportunities all the time. I only realize it when I'm laying in bed awake at night. I sit bolt upright.
Yep. Office Space is a great movie.
Office Space is a wonderful film.
And it is...
I cannot wait to rate it.
Yep. It is the first film in our August into September series.
Yep, we're partying like it's 1999.
Partying like it's 1999.
We have chosen 4 films from 1999 to center. And I think that we chose intuitively, but I believe we also chose wisely. Yeah. Because I think we're feeling some of the common threads that between these movies emerge as we watch. Yeah.
If we could just tap into the great ideas that we accidentally have, this is Texarcism all over again.
Yeah, man.
Of course
it is.
I don't remember exactly how it came up, but I think it may have started with The Matrix. You said it was great.
What it came up was you were saying that you were going to refuse to do
Antichrist.
The Matrix.
Nope.
Well, you're Antichrist, which is coming up. You were saying you were going to refuse to do The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions,
okay.
whatever. And I think that this ended up being our entryway into that.
Yeah.
Party like it's 1999.
We discussed how there were actually many great films of 1999.
Yeah.
And
then we found 4 of them.
Yeah. And they, coincidentally, have a lot more in common than I thought they did when we just chose them.
It's all contemporaneous filmmaking. You're picking up on the unconscious vibrations that are coming to you from the ether, and you're turning that into several movies that, with maybe the exception of Sixth Sense, but maybe not, as we'll see.
We'll have to watch it.
We'll have to wait
with the right eye open, the third eye.
Yeah, that third eye is what I'm trying to get at. All right, you got to pry open your third eye, and you got to make Office Space, and then you got to watch Office Space. and you have a good time. It's a great movie.
Fantastic movie.
Yeah. What's this movie about, Curt?
A IT guy.
A drone.
A drone is miserable in his job, and he decides to stop caring about his job.
After being hypnotized.
And everything gets better as he breaks away from the routine of his soul-crushing job.
Yeah.
And then he decides to rip it off.
He hears that 2 of his friends are going to be fired.
Yeah, while he's about to be promoted.
And he says to these guys, like, hey, you're always talking about, he says to his programmer friend, you're always talking about how you could easily write a virus that could bring this place down. Write it, right?
Yep.
And then they do that. And that's the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they all learn a lesson by the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I cannot remember her name, Jennifer Aniston's character in this film. Do you remember it?
No.
Okay.
We are not good at this.
Whatever. She has some objections to his plan, right? She says, like, that's stealing.
That's stealing.
That is stealing. You're taking money that's not yours and putting it in a bank account. That's stealing.
Yeah.
And, like, clearly Peter has begun, Peter is the main character, Peter has begun to feel that he is somehow above the ethics of your common man, right? He's started to feel that he's some kind of ubermensch.
It's Joanna, I guess.
Joanna? Okay. Yeah. Joanna brings him back down to earth. He's flying high on the power of his new apathy that he's discovered. And she says, come on down here for a second, all right? Come on down with the rest of us people. You can't steal.
Yeah. You will end up in federal pound me in the ass prison.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So he doesn't. They do end up succeeding, but it goes bad.
Yep.
They succeed too hard.
They succeed too well.
They steal too much money too fast because his friend, whose name I also can't remember, the programmer guy, puts a decimal point in the wrong place. Which, I don't know, Curt, have you ever programmed anything? We were talking about this last week.
Not really, no.
You've been in a programming class, though, right?
Nope. The closest I have ever come is using console commands in my Fallout game. That's the closest I've ever come.
I was talking to. I was talking to someone who had. No, okay, never mind.
Let's pretend it was me. Yeah, I've taken a class.
You've taken a programming class, then you know the pain of putting a decimal point in the wrong place. We just touched feet, audience.
I am so sorry, everybody.
So sorry that happened.
We're going to have to start this over.
You connected too hard. Shut it down. You put a decimal point in the wrong place, and the whole program will appear to be working, but under certain conditions, it will do wrong things.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're looking for one...
Exactly. You're searching for a fucking needle in a haystack at that point.
Yep.
Yeah. Ends with Peter going to the construction site and kind of living his best life, seemingly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. With his buddy Lawrence.
Yes, his neighbor. Probably one of the shining characters in that entire movie.
Yeah, Diedrich Bader as Lawrence really sticks out as someone who you want to be. What did this movie make you think about?
It's funny. No, I really enjoy this movie, and I think that it comes from a place of really the humor of... I mean, we are literally the worst at this. Mike Judge, who wrote and directed this film, he must have just had this ability to notice these small, minuscule things that are funny, that everyone is aware of that works in an office environment, but probably at the time didn't know that they were aware of these things. And I think that it's fun when a movie can... It's like a good stand-up comic that can just talk about like everyday life and make it hilarious because they make you notice things that you didn't realize were funny or that you had in common with other people. Mm-hmm. And that's what I like about it so much. It's just full of great lines that are just really funny, good dialogue. And it's funny because when we're talking about like the plot of he decides to stop caring about his job and then he does like a heist.
You know, does he decide to stop caring about his job or does he realize that his job actually doesn't matter?
Yeah, I mean that's probably closer
right? So
to
he
it.
realizes like, wait a second. this doesn't mean anything. This does not matter to me. The only reason I do it. I love the way he puts it at one point where he says, like, this is the worst. Every day is worse than the last. So this is the worst day of my life. Every day that you see me, it's the worst day of my life. And it doesn't seem like it's going to get any better. Yeah.
Yeah.
That pretty much sums it up.
That really does.
The mindset of, you get trapped, man, you know?
Yeah.
You get trapped in that mindset. You gotta break free, Curtis.
But what I love about it so much, though, is, like, the plot of the movie, like, doesn't feel that significant to the film.
You don't think so?
I mean,
I disagree. I think all the comedy stems from the plot. I think that's what makes it a great film.
I think that most of the heist part, I think in a conventional movie, that would be taken on pretty quick. For instance, I haven't seen this movie since college, but in The Matrix, you don't see very much of Neo, whatever his name is, before he's Neo. You don't see much of his life before
Mr.
Anderson finds him.
No, Mr. Anderson is Neo's name.
Oh, okay. So you don't
really haven't seen this movie.
No, it's been a really long time.
That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a fun one.
The guy from Lord of the Rings is in it.
Yeah, Elrond.
So I think that in a conventional movie, it would have just, it could have shown that Peter's life sucks. He hates it. He's gonna rip this place off.
Wait, what was your Matrix point? I want to hear about this.
Just that in that movie, not to say that The Matrix is like just a typical movie, but they show you that this life sucks and he's unhappy, and then it pretty quickly follows into the main plot of the movie, which is, hey, by the way, you're plugged into a machine and none of this is real. Office Space doesn't take the whole movie to be like, we're going to rip this place off, and then the whole movie builds with just small office jokes that kind of turn into this part that feels
I guess I'm confused
smaller.
About the point you're making here. Well, you'll have to rewatch The Matrix, because I think that the two movies are almost the same movie, if you break it down.
Okay.
It's all about escaping from the drudgery of your normal life. It's all about, because, do you remember what, his name might even be John Anderson, I don't know. It's just the most milquetoast fucking generic name ever. Yeah. And Neo is like his online hacker name. There's a lot of shit that happens in The Matrix before he goes to The Matrix, right? And he's not necessarily miserable. Like, he doesn't like his office job, but he's a super successful hacker on the other side, right? Like, he spends his nights hacking computers and selling viruses to people and all that. And there's an analogy to be drawn between the scene where Peter gets hypnotized and the scene where Neo gets the blue pill and red pill offered to him. I think. Okay. We'll see when we get to The Matrix.
I have to watch it again.
Yeah.
So, where should we go from here?
I think that all the comedy stems from the plot, right? I think that all the comedy stems from the characters, which all stem from the plot. Right. And I think that you get the great scene at the beginning where they're all in traffic, which is like the most frustrating. Like, you never feel more like an ant in just being ground in the cogs of the industrial machine than when you're stuck in traffic with a bunch of other unhappy assholes. None of you can talk to each other because you're all in cars, but you're all forced to undergo this miserable experience together. And I think that opening the movie in that experience was like a really canny and intelligent way to open it. And you get images of all the characters that kind of show you what they're about. Yeah. Right? Like, Peter is frustrated because no matter what he does to try to get ahead, he's always caught behind some other people, and it seems like nothing ever works out for him.
Yep.
Fucking can't remember his name.
Saeed?
Saeed? Is it Saeed?
Yeah.
Is it really Saeed?
Is it really Saeed, or was that just really offensive?
Is that just from Lost?
Let's take the time to find out, because
can't be being too racist on this podcast.
No.
And I need a cheat sheet for character names because I'm a dummy.
Yeah. Then I guess if we're comparing The Matrix to Office Space, I would change my answer of what the plot is to not that they decide to. The plot is less about the heist than just about not caring about not Samir. Shit.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't Saeed because Saeed is from Lost, and I would have remembered if it was Saeed. Samir is angry. Yeah. Samir is really angry about being in traffic, and that follows through the rest of the movie. And what's the programmer's name?
Michael Bolton.
Michael Bolton. Well, that's pretty important, huh?
That's easy to remember.
Yeah, I should have remembered that. That's like half the joke. Half his jokes in the movie are Michael Bolton based. And then Michael Bolton is like listening to gangster rap.
Yeah.
But he is scared to keep listening to gangster rap when an actual black person walks near his car. And he like hushes it down.
Turns it down, locks the doors. Like through like under the right arm that you would do it to be discreet about it.
Yeah.
And I do think though one of the cool things about that scene is I really like your take on it and how it's a fitting place to start the movie, but what makes it like so effective is like all of that stuff is correct, but that's also how those people actually start their day.
Right.
Like, so it's really like, what does that say, about
it's the
that life?
It's the kind of quintessential like start your movie when your character wakes up, or start your biography at the subject's birth.
Yeah.
And the idea that when you're in traffic, you're passing through a membrane and you're becoming an office drone. That's not who you are the rest of the time. Yeah. Though sometimes it does seem to be.
Yeah. What else? I was telling you yesterday that the hardest thing about doing an episode about Office Space is not just quoting it for an hour straight. Yeah, I feel like it's one of the most quotable movies that I've ever seen.
The thing that always pops into my mind is the characters.
Yeah.
The characters that populate the office, aside from Peter, Samir.
Yep.
And Mike,
Saeed.
Peter, Samir, and Michael Bolton.
Yep.
Lumberg.
Milton. Where this whole project kind of began, I guess.
Yeah, he was the starting point for Office Space, seemingly. And Lumberg, though. Yeah. Milton and Lumberg, that pairing which is great, because they have their own little B-plot that goes throughout the movie. The woman who says that he's got a case of the Mondays.
Yeah.
I love her.
That's... Every time, that's so great. Mondays. That's the same woman that's the... Just a moment, right? Is that... I think
just
that's
a moment.
Same...
I think is she the one who tells Milton not to be greedy?
Yeah, I think she is, yeah.
And to pass it along? And then Milton still doesn't get any cake?
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, just...
Hardest part of that movie.
It's difficult to sit through.
Yeah, every time.
Yep.
It's like Schindler's List. You think every time it's going to be a little bit easier, and it just never is.
Mm-hmm. Stan, the tchotchke's manager.
Yep. Brian, with the O face. Classic.
What's his deal, man?
He's like,
I don't understand that stupid character. I don't get it.
I think, like, I don't know. And I think, like, maybe that is what's so genius about it. Like, every work space, whether it's an office or not, just has that shitty dude, and you're like, why are you here?
He's like pretending that he doesn't hate his job,
and like the fact
he
that
actually
he
doesn't hate his job. Maybe
I don't
that's
think
more
he hates
terrifying.
His job, but I think that's probably the point. He's just one of those work for the weekend, and as long as you get those 2 like party days, you can tough out the.
He's got a haircut that tells you that's his deal too.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was one thing that I thought was interesting, because I was actually trying to be a good podcast host and do a little research about this. And I think I was really surprised to find out that Mike Judge didn't love this movie, because I love it.
Why were you surprised about that? Also, what are you basing that on?
Just the fact, it's pretty clear that he was told that it wasn't coming out very good as he was doing it. They were doing it. He didn't want to make it in the first place, and then they wanted him to make it because of the popularity of... What movie? There's something about Mary, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So I couldn't remember if it was that or...
Well, they encouraged him. They're like, hey, this could be a good thing. But then they immediately regretted it as they realized that what he was doing was like being a true auteur asshole and making exactly the movie that he wanted to make with the slow dialogue.
So, and then he hated the ending, but he didn't realize that...
Man, I don't know if he hated the ending. I think you're extrapolating a little bit from insufficient evidence, because from what I could see, what he said was that during a test screening, he said that he saw how the movie should end. I don't know if that means that he hates the ending as it is.
So I might be extrapolating.
But the idea that, you know, sometimes when you're watching a movie, if you made the movie, not that I've ever made a movie, we should make a movie.
We should try that sometime.
Sometimes when you're watching a movie with an audience, you suddenly realize, like, wait a minute, all the things that they reacted to should have built up to this particular ending, but instead I took this other tack. And, you know, I kind of feel the same way about the last third of this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know how I think it should have ended, but it definitely feels like it takes a little bit of a tonal shift. Like there's an energy present in the first 2/3 of the movie that is almost magical, and then it goes away, and it feels like the plot needs to work itself out rather than allowing the characters to drive the plot forward.
I was curious because I had read that he wanted to have it have, you know, different ending, and I was curious what his ending would have been, because I always felt like, I don't know, I guess I hadn't noticed that. Like I always thought it seemed like a pretty good ending to it.
It is pretty good, but it's not as good as the rest of the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I just don't know. I'm curious, like, what he would have wanted the ending to be, which obviously we can't
know his heart.
We can't know that.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what I would have wanted different either. You know,
yeah.
It's hard to really place, but it feels like there's a definite shift, and I'm trying to figure out exactly where the shift occurs, but I can't. Because I'm dumb, and I watched the movie 2 weeks ago. I'm a big dumb podcaster. Can't remember anything specific.
You idiot! You prepared for the date we were originally supposed to record this.
Can't remember character names.
What a nerd!
Can't remember anything about the plot.
Yeah.
Can't remember nothing.
We are the worst podcast hosts.
I think it's when things. I think it's the place where I think where I think it should have changed is when the scam works too well.
Yeah.
Because after that, it feels like the movie just starts to end, you know? Yeah. It doesn't feel like the plot drives, but it feels like an extended denouement after that point. I do love that Milton burns the place down. I think that should have stayed the same. Maybe. Possibly. It's kind of like a Deus Ex Machina, you know? It's like the problem just goes away because the whole thing... It's like... You know what it is? It's the original ending of Clerks.
Yeah.
Dante gets killed in that ending, and that's not a good ending.
That's a
little bit amateurish, right? It's like, I just need to finish this thing off, so burn the building down.
I can appreciate that, because it does feel like a kind of cartoonish ending to a movie that kind of revolves around these, like, you know,
tiny little moments,
jokes.
Yeah. What are you busily tapping over?
I'm honestly, I was like trying to find Mike Judge's like thoughts about the movie, because I was trying to find out if he had an ending for it, because it's bothering me.
I've tried to find it. I couldn't see anything.
But there is I don't know if this is specific to the ending, but there is a Mike Judge quote that says, "There was a while where I just thought, man, I made the hugest turd of a movie."
Well, he thought that because the movie bombed in theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it did great business on DVD, and that actually plays into... Have you ever seen Idiocracy?
I have, but a long time ago.
I've never seen Idiocracy, but I kind of want to watch Idiocracy now.
Is that a Mike Judge movie?
That's a Mike Judge movie.
I did not know that.
That was the movie that he made after Office Space.
Oh.
Like, he did Office Space, and he did King of the Hill, and then I think as King of the Hill was maybe winding down, or his involvement in King of the Hill was winding down, I'm not sure, he took on Idiocracy. That's a completely made-up story, and I'm sorry that I lied just now. I don't know anything about the making of Idiocracy. But what I do know about Idiocracy...
We'll learn about it when we do our Idiocracy episode.
What I do know about Idiocracy is that the release of that movie was totally bug-fucked, because the studio was like, well, last time, you know what it was? He owed another script, I think.
Oh.
That might have been the extract script. I don't know. Look, I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm a bad podcaster. I'm a big, dumb idiot.
We're a little rusty. It's been a couple weeks.
I can't remember how to say interesting things.
Yeah.
The studio, when he was making Idiocracy, was like, well, last time we wasted a whole bunch of money releasing your movie in theaters. So this time, what if we release it in 10 theaters?
Yeah.
And instead of wasting a bunch of money on that, we just depend on DVD sales.
Yeah. I think I remember seeing that Office Space only made like $2 or $3 million more than its budget. Yeah, so at least it didn't like bomb. I guess
it didn't make
$5.
$5.
A flop is
right?
better than a bomb.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Sometimes I'm not a good podcaster. Well, this is a great movie.
It's fucking hot in here, man.
It is hot in here.
It's killing me.
It's getting hard to do the podcast in this heat.
These are the parts that we would cut out if we edited this show.
Yeah, you know, I think we're on the verge of that happening.
Of starting to edit the show?
I think we shouldn't talk about it on the show.
Okay.
But I think you can usually if we talk about something that we're going to do on the show, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah. I think there are going to be some actual big like podcast changes.
Let's talk about it on the post show.
Let's talk about it on the post show.
Yeah.
So we're only at like 40 minutes. I mean,
we've got at least 20 minutes of Dreamcast coming up.
So yeah, I have a couple Dreamcast things, but this always happens. We will review something I love, and I just don't feel like I can adequately explain why I like it so much.
That does always happen. You know what we should start doing? Well, we'll talk about it after the show. I've got an idea for something that we could do that I think would help us with that problem. Because I feel the same problem as well.
So I know that so far in the show...
I also think it would help us with whatever other projects we're trying to do with the podcast.
I love that.
It would give us more content to
because we're moving forward.
Yeah.
So we have 20 minutes. We have to review Ben and Curt Till It Hurts from 1 year ago.
Okay, well, first we should rate this movie on our scale and decide if it can go on the tight shit list.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to... I have a hard time coming up with a number, I guess.
Yeah.
But I can firmly say that I think Office Space is tight shit.
Okay, I think this is a 4-star movie.
Out of 4?
What fucking scale do I use, Curt?
I don't remember.
You don't remember what scale I use?
Was it 4?
I'm a weirdo. I use a 4-star scale.
Did I get 10?
I don't know if you chose 5 or 10.
I think I did 10.
Or 100. I like a 1,000-point scale.
I did do a 100-point scale.
Mm-hmm. It needs to get 104 points total to be a Ben and Curt Till It Hurts type
That's
shit
like such a small, like, it's like I get like a fraction of what you get, you know? Like,
your vote counts for 1/25 as much as my vote.
Yeah, I mean, this movie's tight shit. I will call it... I hate giving things 10s because it's like, what's perfect, you know?
Nothing's perfect, and a 10 doesn't mean it's perfect.
You're right.
A 10 means that it is as good as a movie can be. All right? A 10 means that it is a significant motion picture that matters, and that there's nothing... you know what?
maybe it isn't tight shit. I think this movie is tight shit. I will give it whatever... I'll give it the lowest score.
I'll give it whatever I need to.
I have to give it to have it be tight shit.
Well, the way I explained the system last time we recorded, and I do not stand by this anymore, was that we both needed to give it perfect scores for it to be tight shit. Honestly, I've kind of talked myself out of the 4 stars.
Yeah?
I think it might be a 3.5-er.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You know, okay, so...
Yeah.
Look, here's the thing. This movie is tight shit, but everything... on the tight shit list is not necessarily as good as everything else on the tight shit list. You know what I mean?
We got to figure out the boundaries of the tight shit list.
Like, I know for a fact, when you watch Crippled Masters, you're going to think it's tight shit. And that's going to be probably the pinnacle of tight shit for both of us.
Yeah.
And I mean, Resident Evil 4 is tight shit. Is it Crippled Masters tight shit?
Resident Evil 4 is as good as a video game can be.
That's true, so maybe that was a bad example. I'm just saying that this movie is tight shit.
Okay.
We'll put it on the tight shit list, which I still...
Don't bulldoze me.
I'm sorry. Did you
I'm
not want to put it on
joking.
the tight shit list?
I'm just joking.
I didn't mean to bulldoze you, Ben.
I'm philosophically confused about the limits.
Should we work our way through it?
of the tight shit list. Let's work our way through it.
Let's work our way through it.
What's the worst a thing can be and still be tight shit?
Mad Max? No. Holy shit, no. That was low blow. No, I don't know.
Mad Max did not make it onto the tight shit list.
Okay, you know what it can be?
What?
The worst thing, this is too abstract, and I apologize for this, but this is where my brain's taking me.
Take it abstract.
We put the films of Quentin Tarantino on the tight shit list.
Mm-hmm.
So, the worst a thing can be and be on the tight shit list is
Jackie Brown.
Is Jackie Brown. Like but only because of the things it is held up by. You know what I mean? So, like, is Jackie Brown as good as Resident Evil 4? Fuck no. But are the collected works of Quentin Tarantino, including Jackie Brown, as good as Resident Evil 4? I think so.
Yeah. Is every level of Resident Evil 4 as good as every other level of Resident Evil 4? You know?
That's no. Unfortunately, no.
Definitely not. Okay. All right. Yeah, Office Space makes it on.
I don't, and if you're questioning it, I have no problems saying it's not on the tight shit list.
No. We've made a decision.
It's on the tight shit list. That's where the tight shit list is gonna go. It's gonna go right on that somehow little patch of wall that I haven't fucking stuck any DVDs on.
Yeah.
And
what used to be there?
I don't remember. Something was there because the PA wasn't there. The comic boxes were there with the Meowth on top. That's what it was.
Meowth. That's right.
Next, do you want to review what we were up to 1 year ago?
Of course I do. I love this segment.
Okay, so the date is August 15th, 2018.
Yeah.
On August August 14th, 2017, we reviewed 3 essential Tom Waits albums. Mm-hmm. Bone Machine, Nighthawks at the Diner, and Rain Dogs.
Oh, man.
Which I don't even need to think about.
Yeah.
Still, 10 out of 10, tight shit.
10 out of 10, all 3 of them.
I feel a little bit weaker about Bone Machine than I do about the other 2. But I also recognize that, like, Bone Machine is kind of like his biggest album, I think. Yeah. So, I'm totally, like...
I don't know if Bone Machine is his biggest album.
I don't know either, I guess.
It's his biggest album among goth kids like me. But I think Bone Machine is a 4-star album. I think Rain Dogs is a 4-star album.
Don't break my heart.
I think Nighthawks is a 3.5-star album.
Okay, I can live with that. There's enough... There's a level of, like, preference there that kind of fudges. That's fine.
You can believe that if you want.
You can tell yourself that.
Go ahead. Does that make you feel better?
This is good. Right. You can tell yourself that.
Yeah. Dreamcast?
Darkcast? I'm not feeling Darkcast.
No?
Do you want to do Darkcast for the sake of the show? I don't really have great dreams for this week.
Neither do I.
So, would it help?
Darkcast.
You wanted to do Darkcast, and that's fine. You can tell me, Ben.
I didn't know that I wanted it until you were ambivalent about it. And when I realized that you were ambivalent about it, I realized that I need it to be Darkcast because you're not gonna like what I have to say this week.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
After I watched Funny Games, I was in a bit of a weird mind space because that movie fucks with you, right? Especially if you watch it very attentively as a film. It's like every signal. It's one of those movies that has just perfect control of every element of the frame and of the plot, and every element of it is perfectly calibrated to fuck with you as much as possible. So I was feeling very fucked with afterwards. And one of the things that kept fucking with me was, like, the original came out in 1998, but it prefigures the Dylan Klebold, Eric Harris dynamic from the actual tragic shooting at the Columbine High School.
Remind me when Columbine was?
1999.
Okay.
That's part of the reason I'm so gung-ho about Party Like It's 1999. Because I think that there's a lot of stuff. I think that Columbine was maybe one of the most important historical events of our generation, maybe of the 20th century. And I think that even films that were made before Columbine prefigured Columbine in important ways.
Yeah.
Because, like, Columbine didn't happen in a vacuum.
Right.
Columbine, people involved in Columbine in the shootings were responding, even if they didn't realize it, to signals from the wider culture at large. Even if they were responding to them in perverse and psychopathic ways, they were still responding to these signals. One of the little details that always gets me is that their code name for the shooting, because it took them like a year to plan it, their code name for the shooting was NBK, which A is a reference to natural born killers, but also is kind of a phonetic twin to Y2K.
Okay.
There was a lot of apocalyptic thinking going on around that time.
Yeah.
And Natural Born Killers, the film, plays into that, but also the events at Columbine were pretty openly apocalyptic in nature. Anyway, so I was thinking a lot about Columbine as I was going to sleep after I watched Funny Games. And I woke up with night terrors in the middle of the night, thinking that there were people with flashlights walking around in my apartment, shining the lights in the window above my bed.
I fucking hate dreams like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like it was a dream that I woke up from that I think was worse than that, but you know how you sometimes have dream residue after you wake up, and it's as though the events are happening around you in your home.
Yep.
So I think that I experienced a demonic visitation.
Oh.
Because I opened my mind to very dark and evil events in the world.
Yeah.
So thanks, Michael Haneke, for your film Funny Games.
Thanks, Michael Haneke.
Yeah. I had another dream.
Tell me.
But very different. A couple days later, I had a dream that I was inside of a building that was like a campus, like a school campus. So kind of a Columbine thing again. But I was the only person in this building, and all arrayed outside of the building were just hundreds, if not thousands, of people who were all preparing to be part of a music performance. And they were all dressed in matching like school band uniforms, and they were all getting ready to play a piece of music. And I could not or did not want to go outside and join them. Not because, for a bunch of reasons. I thought that I didn't belong with them. I thought that it was too much responsibility for me to go and join them outside with the rest of the band. And I didn't think that I was part of the band anyway.
Yeah.
And I woke up just feeling very strange after that. It wasn't a scary dream, really. It was just, I felt, but it wasn't a happy dream at all either. It was an anxiety dream, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those were my two dreams this week.
I had a dream last week that was a direct result, I feel, of something that happened to me earlier that day. So what happened to me that was not a dream was that I got home early one day from work, and it was really nice out. So my wife wanted to go swimming. So we got ready to go swimming, and we drove to the place we like to go swimming. Just as we were getting there, a lot of clouds started to come, and there was like some thunder like in the distance. And
it's been real crazy recently with that.
Yeah, this summer has totally just shit the bed.
Yeah.
It's like either monsoons or like brutal heat.
Yeah.
Thanks, global warming.
Or monsoons and then brutal heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were like, well, we're here. Let's go for a swim real quick. So we were swimming, and when we first got there, I was swimming, and I like went underwater, and I opened my eyes, so you know everything's kind of yellow because just sand and the sun's shining in. And as the clouds came and it started to get really dark, we were like, well, we should probably get out of here because we heard the thunder off in the background. So I said, I'm just gonna swim out and like tap the buoy and then swim back, just to be like, so I actually swam and didn't just like dunk my head in the water. So I swam out to the buoys, and it was getting darker as this was happening. This sounds like it was a dream, but this was
like the dream
This
part.
was the real part.
Whoa.
So I swam out, and I tapped the buoy, and as I'm coming back, I just realized that like it was quite dark, and the water was just like pitch black. So that was just like, ugh, like kind of freaky. So You know, like when you're like a grown up and you're not really scared, but you're like, I'm gonna swim back as fast as I can so I can get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
It was one of those moments. So we got home. I didn't die or anything.
Thank goodness.
So that night, I'm dreaming that I'm at a beach and I'm standing on like a floating dock with some other people. And there's some tool or a piece of equipment that got dropped into the water. And for some reason, this piece of equipment looked exactly like a Green Power Ranger action figure. It was not a Green Power Ranger action figure. Like, I didn't have to dive in to get it because I needed this action figure. It just, for some reason, happened to look like the Green Power Ranger. So I was like, oh, we need this? I'll dive in and get it. So I dove in and I grabbed the Power Ranger. And the same thing when I opened my eyes underwater, everything was very hazy and yellow, like the sun was shining in and I couldn't see anything. And it was kind of like, it was not deep below the surface. So I was quick to dive in and grab it. And as soon as I grabbed it and started to swim up, there was no up anymore. I was just completely surrounded by water. And as much as I swam, there was no... And I could specifically feel that there was...
You gotta fucking trigger warning me with these,
I'm sorry.
man. You can't throw a dream like this.
There was no up or down. There was just me in endless water swimming until I woke up from... I was drowning in the dream and then I woke up.
Wow.
That was the dream. Which I directly relate to the fact that I had a spooky water thing.
Yeah, but there's more to that dream than just that, Curtis.
You don't get to write that off that easily.
Yeah, you don't get to... All right, remind me, what was the... You know Power Rangers better than I do. What was the Green Ranger like? Who was the Green Ranger?
So the Green Ranger was Tommy, and he was not...
Did he become the White Ranger?
He did, but he was also not one of the original 5 Power Rangers. He was a bad Power Ranger that they defeated and won him over, so he was a good Ranger. And then he never really worked with the 5. He kind of worked like alongside the 5.
He was the guy in Animorphs who turned into a Vulcan or whatever.
I was never an Animorphs guy.
Yeah, I know, me either. Okay. I barely know about it.
So he had his own Zord. Like the 5 had their little Zords that turned into a Megazord. Mm-hmm. He had his own giant Zord to himself. So he was like the cool badass one, and then they made him into the White Ranger, and he was even more badass. So that's what I needed to get out of the water, was an action figure that was not an action figure, but it looked just like the Green Ranger.
It was a tool that looked just like an action figure of the Green Ranger. Mm-hmm. That's intensely meaningful, all right? Like, there's...
that clearly means
the best Ranger to be a Dream Ranger, okay? Yeah. So what... I'm still confused about the Green Ranger. Was he the Green Ranger when they were fighting him?
Yes.
He was.
He was under the control of Rita Repulsa.
Okay, all right. But then they captured him and turned him to their side.
They somehow defeated Rita Repulsa's mind control over Tommy, who was the Green Ranger, and then he became a good Ranger.
All right, but he was still the Green Ranger when he worked with the Power Rangers.
Yep.
When did he become the White Ranger?
A few seasons later, there was... The thing about Power Rangers is that Power Rangers is completely stock footage from Japan.
Sure.
So a lot of times the story has to revolve around this is the footage we already have, so we have to make it work. So in the show, it was just that the green power coin, I think, was losing its ability. So they were like, Tommy's not going to get to be a Ranger anymore. And at the 11th hour, they somehow find a way to make him into a new Ranger with a talking sword.
Right, he's going to die.
I don't think he's going to die. I think
the Ranger
is going to die. The ability to be the Green Ranger.
Symbolically, the Green Ranger is going to die, but they revive him as the White Ranger.
Yep.
It's a classic Christian myth, man. All right, that's. So the Green Ranger has and he begins as so it's the full hero. He is in a way he is the most archetypally heroic of the Rangers.
Yeah.
He's like the lead Ranger.
He's
in a way, he's separate from them.
Yeah. He's kind of like, how should I say this?
Wolverine?
Yeah, he's like Wolverine, and the Red Ranger's like Cyclops. Like, he is the leader. He works the closest with the other Rangers. Right. You just have this badass rogue Ranger.
Right. And he was the one that you needed to rescue.
Yep. I had to get that.
Do you have any idea what the tool was going to do?
I don't remember why we needed it.
Why it had been in the water?
Nope.
No. Who were you on the dock with?
I don't remember.
Just people?
Yeah, I don't remember there being anybody significant that I know.
Yeah. Did it feel like, were you like the leader of them? Why did you need to go into the water?
I think I was just helping, and in my head I was like, well, that's just right there. I can swim. I can get that. Yeah, there's just the I can do it.
So they all probably represent like parts of you. But the you in the dream were the conscious element of yourself. So the fact that you needed to dive into the water to get something implies to me that if you're doing anything that feels like you're diving into a new or unusual part of your mind, you should continue doing that. But always be aware of the possibility that you might become lost in it. Because that seems to be the anxiety that your dream is representing to you. It's trying to represent to you the very real possibility that when you dive into new parts of your consciousness or of your unconscious mind, you can lose your bearings very easily in those situations. How you get your bearings back, I don't know.
Related to that, you are going to hate this next dream.
Yeah?
I don't know that.
Is this a trigger warning?
I don't remember enough about this dream to know what it was about. I have one fraction of a memory about this dream.
I just want to say that first dream, 4-star dream, Curtis.
4-star dream.
That is a 4-star dream all the way.
You know, sometimes it's so weird. Sometimes,
you have great dreams, man.
I don't know what
you
it
really
is.
do. You really do.
And so, this next dream, I barely remember, and the context of the dream is what was more frightening to me than the dream itself. I was in a room. It felt like a very long dream. It felt like I was having a significant dream, and when it climaxed with me seeing a woman sitting on a chair, like a couch or a chair, and she was a thin, petite, blonde woman, and she was wearing like a red, like a bandana over her eyes. But
red is a very important color.
It was a very wide. It wasn't just over her eyes. It was like a wide bandana that covered probably like from her hairline down to like her lip, like a very wide red bandana. Yep. And I remember thinking to myself, at first it was, oh no, I'm not supposed to see this. I'm not supposed to know about you. I never should have seen you. And then I remember laughing and like being like, oh my God, this is what you are. And then that's all.
This is what you are.
That is what I'm not supposed to see you. I'm not supposed to be aware of you. And now I see what you are, and I started just laughing, and then I woke up. Yeah.
That's wild.
I don't remember anything about the dream. That's awesome. I just remember. Sometimes dreams.
Where was she? Like,
I'm just sitting on some piece of furniture in this room, and I don't remember.
You don't remember
anything about the room. I don't even remember if it was like a couch or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it was some kind of furniture.
Yeah, she was just sitting. I don't know.
What was her posture like?
She was just sitting calmly. And
was she sitting up straight? Was she slouched?
Sitting up straight. I think she may have had her hands in her lap, but I don't know if she knew that I was there.
Well, she's blindfolded. Of course, she didn't know that you were
there. It was.
I mean, you don't even seem to have had like a steady corporeal form in this dream necessarily.
No, and that was like what was so
seems
upsetting
like an isolated image
about it was that it felt like a dream was happening that I was not aware was happening, and then when I became conscious that I was dreaming, I noticed my surroundings, and I said, it was almost like a really bad version of seeing Santa Claus, like. Oh shit, I'm not supposed to see you. Like, this was not supposed to happen.
This is what you are.
Yeah, Who
was you in that?
So, this is all like me elaborating on it after it happened. But it feels like it was like this person has been watching me, and I'm not supposed to know that they do that. And then in this instance, for a moment, I could see them when they couldn't see me, and that was not supposed to happen.
That's fucking rules, man.
And then I just started laughing.
Yeah.
And then I woke up.
Well, there's every possibility that, and it's going to sound like I'm joking here, but I mean this in all seriousness. There's every possibility that we're talking about demonic visitation here.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. This sounds like classic demonic visitation to me.
Well, I do have the floating orbs in my fucking room, so
Yep.
which I have not seen since then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe the orbs are a transitive property. Maybe it's inside your mind now.
I hope people don't listen to this and think I'm crazy or think I'm one of those weirdos.
Hey, there's nothing that makes you crazy about having a demonic visitation, okay?
I just don't want to be one of those people that insists that they've been abducted by aliens when they're just crazy. So I hope that people that listen to this, this is just me relaying my dreams as I have them. And hopefully I'm not a crazy person.
There's something really interesting about the mental geography of alien abduction. Because if you were to ask me what's actually happening when someone is experiencing alien abduction, I would say that it is demonic visitation. Demons are taking on a form that they know is palatable to 20th century man. Now, it seems like because this did not feel like an alien visitation to you.
No.
Doesn't seem like. The mask has fallen away. You may have seen a demon very close to what the demon actually looks like. Less like what you're expecting an alien visitation to look like. More like a form that the demon is very comfortable in. Alright. Now, when I'm talking about this stuff, I am more joking than not.
Yeah.
Not all of it. I do believe that it was a demonic visitation of some kind. Or that there's a... You do not seem to have been comforted by this presence.
No.
You seem... And red.
Yeah.
Like the jars or the kabuki masks or something. The demon faces in the Dream with the Shack. Also red, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
What was she wearing?
See, this I get to a point where I don't remember if I'm just
Making it up.
Yeah.
But if I picture her right now in my head, she's sitting and wearing just professional clothing, like a long gray skirt and a gray vest with a blouse.
Somehow that's the detail that makes me want to barf most.
Blonde ponytail, very light blonde hair.
Not recognizably anyone that you know.
No, very petite, small woman, big red bandana on her face, sitting with her feet on the floor and her legs closed, like her knees together, with her hands just on her lap.
Just facing forward.
And not facing me, kind of sitting like 3/4. Yeah.
That's sick, man.
Dude, I don't know.
You gotta guard yourself against demonic visitation, okay?
That's not the advice I want.
That's all the advice I have to give.
That's not cool.
But also, well, you also need to keep in mind the diving dream.
Yeah.
Because you need that Green Ranger figure. But it could be dangerous.
Word. So is that the end of Darkcast?
Yeah, how are you feeling?
Not great. Not great, Ben.
That's honestly, truly one of the scariest dreams I've ever had recounted to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at some point... Ooh, that was nice.
Yeah.
At some point, we'll have to do a special Dreamcast to, talk about recurring dreams and themes.
Yeah? Do you have some to offload?
Yeah.
I just got a text from my wife. My wife dropped me off here, so I'm trapped here for a while. She says take our time with the podcast.
Did she just say that?
She just sent me that text.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you want to do this on the cast or off the cast? I'm very interested in hearing about your recurring dreams.
I think I'll have to think about it. I don't want to commit to opening up about that.
I can imagine that you're in a very weird mental space at this particular moment.
I am.
It's always a little bit traumatic to recount a very traumatic demonic visitation. Sorry, just touched
the
foot
feet.
Again. That was a comforting foot.
That was not comforting to me.
I was trying to make a human connection. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've never had a dream like that, which is what
me either. Holy shit!
Is what made it so unsettling, because it didn't feel like a dream.
It feels like the veil has been lifted.
Yeah.
It feels like you're seeing the things behind your dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which wasn't nice.
That's too much.
And that's what is the scariest thing about it, is that there was nothing inherently scary about that woman. It was just this over encompassing feeling of, I'm not supposed to see this.
It sounds Lovecraftian.
I'm not supposed to be
I've
here.
gotta be,
like, and that's kind of like, I've never read a lot of like Lovecraft,
yeah.
but
you're familiar with the theme.
Yeah,
it's like
it just
unknowable horror that leaves you laughing madly upon contacting it.
That's what it was.
You get the feeling that if she had begun to lift the blindfold,
yeah,
like what you would have seen when you gazed into the eyes of this creature would have left you a bit worse for wear.
It just was not. I've never experienced. I don't think I've ever experienced that feeling before, where the scariest thing was just that I knew too much. Yeah. That is not cool.
You're being straight with me about this dream, right?
Dude, I promise
you're not playing it up.
I would never make up dreams for the sake of Dreamcast.
You would never sully Dreamcast.
I
trust you too. I trust you. All right.
Thank you. And I fully acknowledge that, like, in this particular dream, some of those things I may have attributed afterward, because
it could, but that doesn't make them invalid.
It was a very fast, like, oh shit, I'm having a dream. Oh shit, this is not supposed to be happening. And then laughter, and then waking up.
Yeah.
Like,
have you tried meditation recently?
No.
I recommend it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Curtis?
Yeah.
Can I pray for you?
If that makes you feel better.
All right.
Yeah. So I guess that's pretty much. We can hang, but I don't know where.
I think that's the podcast.
I don't know where else we can take the podcast.
Well, we've got some post podcast stuff to talk about too.
Maybe we'll talk dreams post podcast for anybody that wants to hang around.
Yeah.
Is there anybody watching?
I don't know, actually. I haven't had the stream up here.
You know, you take a week off, and it doesn't take long to lose people.
Yeah. Doesn't look like anybody's watched.
All right. So maybe I'll just recount my recurring dreams to you.
Yeah.
Without the cast. So next week we're going to continue to party like it's 1999 with the overrated film Fight Club. I don't know that. What
are you talking about?
That was me being a jerk.
Boy, I'll say.
I watched Fight Club because everybody was like, "Oh my God, you have to watch Fight Club. It's crazy."
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched it, and then I was like, "That movie was not that crazy." Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I was a teenager, probably not the smartest.
And you haven't seen it since?
Nope.
Wow,
and
zowie.
I was also watching it with the scope of being on that trail of like, oh, you want to see something fucked up. So maybe my expectations for what fucked up were,
right,
or maybe just I was too far down that path to like be in that moment affected by what Fight Club was. Mm-hmm. So I'm very excited to watch it again.
I will preface our viewing of Fight Club by saying that I believe that Fight Club is a movie that has gotten uncountably better with age.
Yeah.
I think that Fight Club is aging like a fine wine, and I think that every day news comes out that that confirms that Fight Club was a truly prophetic film.
Can I tell? I was going to tell you about a news article I saw today, but I'll wait till the postcast.
All right.
That's appropriate for the postcast.
All right.
So next week we'll be doing Fight Club. Yeah. you know the drill. Listen to Ben and Curt till it hurts by subscribing to Black Gold Podcast on iTunes and Stitcher. You can also stream it from Buzzsprout or YouTube. You can follow Ben and Curt till it hurts on Twitter at Ben_and_Curt. You can follow me by subscribing to me. That's not right. Follow me at CurtCake5K on Twitter and Instagram. We'll be back next week. I think we will actually be back next week this time. We said this 2 weeks ago about Office Space, and then I blew it.
We knew that was a questionable week.
Yeah. So, see you guys next time. Thanks for listening. Hopefully, I made your ride to work terrifying with my spooky dreams.
I'm gonna be thinking about that one for a long time.
If you come up with any additional insight into that, please let me know.
Into just the image dream there,
or any of my dreams. I'm just trying to figure shit out. Yeah. And I was never a guy that looked to have dreams, and you kind of fucked that up for me. I recall saying, I don't really ever have dreams.
Yeah, and now you've got multiple great dreams per week.
Every week I have super fucked up dreams that really fuck with me.
You're welcome.
Demons visit my room while I'm awake.
Yeah.
In my bathroom and in my closet. Thanks, Ben. Bye, everybody.
Bye. I gotta give you a disclaimer. I'm of two minds on this, and I find that this happens a lot with my newfound religiosity. Because on the one hand, there's a part of me that's telling me to draw back and to not try to freak you out with shit, or to try not to freak you out with shit. And saying but on the other hand, if I would profess to believe what I say I believe. And the part of me that says not to believe that is an increasingly small part of me. And if what I say I believe is what I believe, then there's something there, man. It might have just been a weird, fucked up dream.
Yeah.
It definitely could have just been a weird, fucked up dream. But I'll give you broad scale, I'll give you large scale, low resolution advice. If there's anything in your life that you don't feel too good about,